The Hearts of Gold podcast is brought to you by the Grow and Share Network, produced by Off the Walter Media Productions.
Welcome to Hearts of Gold. Today we have Carly with us. Hi, Carly.
Hi.
Can you tell us about your Girl Scout Gold Award project?
I'm from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and Harrisburg is obviously the capital of Pennsylvania. And for it being the capital, it's actually a food desert. A food desert is anywhere that you have to travel more than a mile to get groceries, or it lacks fresh food coming in. Harrisburg City, for kids, actually 1 in 7 kids struggle to get food. So for my project, I did a community garden. It's actually at an old abandoned high school, and it's in their back football field, so we had a ton of space to work with. So we built boxes out of pallets, and we did some tire like garden box type things. Someone actually dropped tires off there and just kind of like ditched them, and I was like, let's build some garden type things in there. So that was basically what we did for that. And then the second part of my project, there's definitely like a lack of knowledge on healthy eating just for like everyone in general. So I held an event called Nutrition with an Olympian, and we sat down and discussed different types of meal plans and healthy eating, and we made workbooks and all kinds of handouts to give to people.
So what was your favorite part of your project?
Probably actually building the garden boxes. So we started with pallets. We went to some company and they had a bunch in the back. We got all these pallets and we took all the wood apart, and little did we know most of the pallets were dry rotted. So we had to like go through and pick out the wood that we could actually use. And we built them, and then we went to Home Depot and we got some extra wood and things. But then for plants, we went on Facebook Marketplace and we got a bunch of dying plants for some lady, and we had to nurse them back to health. So it was really cool watching like these plants that were about to die all of a sudden going back to life and like producing all this, I don't know, fruit and vegetables and things like that. And I don't know, it was just cool to watch like dying to like flourishing. And probably the people I met, that was another really cool experience. My project advisor was Jordan Hill, who played for the Seahawks and Detroit Lions. So he was pretty cool working with him and having like that connection there. And then another cool connection was Anita Noel Richardson. She was the Olympic gold medalist who did the Nutrition with an Olympian event with me.
And how did you connect with these people?
The gardens are actually the high school, the old high school that they were at, this building. NFL players bought it and they're turning it into an eco-village, and I volunteered to help them a little bit over the summer, and they were talking about putting gardens up, and I was like, why don't we build garden boxes, and we can do it as like a Girl Scout Gold Award. And I was like, so I basically took over like organizing it and things. And then I'm a Juliet because my whole troop graduated off, so I didn't really have like a so-called leader at this point since I was by myself. So I was like, do one of you want to be my project advisors? And he's local. So he was like, I'll be your project advisor. And then a couple of the other people who like work at the organization were on my team. So I had him and just a bunch of like random, pretty awesome people that were super supportive.
What was your biggest struggle during your project, and how did you overcome it?
Since it's an abandoned building, it doesn't have water running, and for a garden you need water to make the plants grow. So we tried so many different things, and I was on Facebook Marketplace and I found a water cooler, and I was messaging this man and I was like, can I please buy your water cooler? But he was an hour and a half away. So I was trying to figure out, he was older, so he didn't have PayPal, Cash App, he didn't have any of that. And I was like, would you like me to drive the hour and a half to bring you the money? And then I was like, then I need someone in a truck. So he ended up donating us the water cooler as long as we put it in memory of his grandson who just recently passed away. So we made a little memorial plaque and put it on the water cooler. But getting the water cooler here was actually a struggle because no one had like a truck big enough to get it here at the time. So he dropped it off at some lady's husband's work who lived in Harrisburg. Then her husband and her drove it up here when she was working. And then some other dude had to pick it up in Harrisburg and drive it the whole way to the site. And then we had to drag it out to the football field. It was a pretty interesting experience. And then once we had it there, we didn't think about, we had to get it filled. So someone there ended up knowing someone local who came and filled the water tank for us. So yes, getting water to water the plants was definitely the hardest part.
That was an experience.
It was like tracking the water cooler. I'm like, okay, it's coming to Harrisburg this day.
What is one thing you know now that you wish you knew before you started your Gold Award?
So I'm like a control freak, basically. I like to make sure I know exactly what's going on with everything. And when you have a team, they're really there for you to like utilize and like rely on and like bounce ideas off. So maybe like being less stressed and realizing like you have the support and people who want to help you, so use them.
Your event with the Olympian was virtual. What did it take to set up that virtual event, and what did you learn from that?
I met her actually at a fundraising event through Harrisburg. I believe it was a fundraising and event for a kid who had cancer, and she was like speaking to raise money, so everyone had to donate money to go. And I actually reached out to her on Facebook, and I was like, hey, I went to one of your events. I sent her a picture of me and her from like 4 years ago, and I was like, I'm working on my Gold Award. I wonder if you'd come speak and help. And she was like, yeah, definitely. So me and her sat down like on Zoom, because she's in, I believe, Tennessee right now. We went through what we were going to talk about and how we were going to do it. So we ended up doing it virtually, and we did it as like a Facebook event, and so we could have it on Facebook Live. And there are so many amazing resource groups out there, like people who are like willing to help you, tell you like what they did wrong and what they did right, and like support you. So I was posting links like, come to our event. And we had a decent turnout, but we had her go through like all the different sections of these like workbook type things. We made handouts, and then we made workbooks to go with one of the, I forget what badge it is, but one of the badges. So we went all through the event. We had people ask questions. It was pretty good. Biggest mistake was not, usually on a normal Facebook Live, you can have 2 people on at once, but in an event live, you can only have 1 person speaking, which was weird, but that was probably like the biggest problem with that. But she did good, and I was just typing in the comment boxes.
It's helpful to have 2 people so that one can monitor comments while the other is speaking.
Definitely.
During the pandemic, you were a graduating senior. What did you do special during the pandemic?
I'm actually high risk, so I really couldn't leave my house much. And I started making masks and donating them to frontline and essential workers. And I made over, I want to say 1,200, almost 1,300 masks till today. And it started with my cousin, who's actually a hospice worker. I took and made masks for her companies and shipped them out to her. And then her company posted them and like tagged me in it. And all of a sudden, after that, I was getting shares and comments and tags, and all these people were requesting masks, but I like ran out of fabric. So I had people dropping stuff off on my front porch, getting like random like stuff mailed to me, like, I found this, hopefully you can make masks. So I had like the whole like little community behind me supporting like this mask project, and everyone was like doing whatever they could to help, and it was pretty cool. But then I ran out of fabric because I was making all these masks, and I started to make a collection out of like, I sew clothes. Like clothes are like my main thing I do, and I started making a collection out of household items, like from anywhere from old VHS tapes to my senior year schoolwork, coat caps and straws, like anything I had an abundance of in my house, I started making it into clothes. And then I kind of just was known as the girl who was making masks and like random household clothes. So that's pretty much what I was doing during the pandemic, trying to pass my time. And also I did community craft classes online since no one could leave. So I had, I think I had people from 23 states, 4 countries, and whatever else on there. We would all sit and talk about how the pandemic was like affecting us in all the different areas. So it was pretty cool.
And your family crafts too.
Yes. We have family craft days, social distancing, but like we all went to my cousin's house last weekend, and we go to the dollar store and we buy all kinds of stuff, and we like completely transform it.
During the pandemic, you also installed a little free library.
I did build a little local free library. It was actually for my silver award. When I first did my silver award, it was supposed to go up at this business, but they ended up going out of like business/moving locations. So I was like, that's kind of too far. It didn't exactly work out. And so I was sitting in my garage, And I know in my area, there's definitely always a need of like resources and things kids always need. So I contacted a local business that just started up, and I was like, would you like a library outside? It's actually a coffee shop. So we installed the little local free library outside, and we got so many donations that we ended up putting bookshelves outside that were like weatherized, so that way like we could have all the books outside too. But it's like amazing to see what goes in and what goes out in a week. So it was really cool to know that even when libraries were closed, there was still access to books for people who needed them and wanted them.
You mentioned that you're a Juliet now. What other Girl Scout experiences have you had, though?
I've been a Girl Scout since, I want to say preschool, kindergarten. Like as soon as you can start, I remember I was a Daisy, Brownie, all those. I went the whole way through, but my troop ended up like graduating off last year. Everyone was pretty much a senior, and there was no point to have a troop with only one girl, because I think you need a minimum of 5. But I've had so many cool experiences. One of my favorite experiences ever was we were at the Girl Scout Girls Day Expo, and one of the coaches, there was a lady speaking, and she was a coach, and now she coaches for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But I met her at this Girl Scout event, and I stayed in pretty close contact with her. So like I'll text her every so often and be like, hey, like updates, and it's pretty cool. But before she worked for the Buccaneers, she was actually an indoor arena football coach. So she like sent me tickets to go to a game, and it was all because I went to an expo and she spoke, and I asked a question to her after. So that was probably one of my favorite experiences. One of the things that really motivated me for the garden was last year when we were still a troop. We were working on a journey, and it was called So What, and we went around to all the different gardens and farmers markets and everything, and I was like, this is so cool, I really want to start a garden. So that was another thing that really motivated me to do the garden.
You've interacted with a lot of athletes. You are an athlete yourself at a prestigious university. Where are you, and what do you do?
I played tennis, and I actually got injured my junior year, and I thought pretty much my tennis career was done. I got diagnosed with a couple of different things, and my private lessons coach was actually the coach at Penn State Harrisburg, and that's one of the reasons I ended up going to Penn State Harrisburg, was to play tennis, because that coach is so amazing, and she's also one of the people that motivated me to do my Gold Award. She used to probably call me, I want to say, every week, and she's like, did you start your Gold Award yet? Did you come up with an idea? So if it wouldn't have been her always in my ear saying, you need to do your Gold Award, you need to do your Gold Award, it probably might not have happened. But she was one of the biggest motivators, and because of her, I've done so much stuff and continued to go back to playing tennis.
So what is in your future?
I'm going to Penn State Harrisburg. I just started, and I'm going to school for business to hopefully one day open my own business, because I sew and stuff all the time. So I really just want to teach the skill of sewing to people. That's like my main goal, because it's a dying art and no one really knows how to do it anymore. And if it like dies off, like it's a crucial thing everyone, I feel like, should know how to do, because people, as soon as they get a hole in something, they just get like rid of their clothes. But it's like something that could be so easily fixed, and it could save people so much money. So my main thing is I want to go to school and open my own business and make it geared towards teaching people how to sew.
How do you make your s'mores?
What's a s'more?
Oh my goodness. How exciting. A Girl Scout who doesn't know a s'more. I get to teach something. A s'more is where you take a marshmallow and you roast it, and you take Hershey's chocolate. It has to be Hershey's chocolate. And you put it between 2 graham crackers, and the roasted marshmallow, if you roast it the way I do, which is golden brown and very gooey, it will melt the chocolate, and you get this gooey, yummy treat. It's S apostrophe more, so you always want some more. So thanks for joining me, Carly.
Thank you for having me.
Make sure to click subscribe so you always know when new episodes are released. And don't forget to power your passion and conquer your challenges.
The Hearts of Gold podcast is brought to you by the Grow and Share Network, produced by Off the Walter Media Productions. Thank you for listening and spreading the word on what we do. If you want to share your story of how you earned your Gold Award, reach out and send an email to growandsshare cheryl.m.robinson@outlook.com. Be sure to listen to the newest episodes on your favorite podcast app, as well as view the full video episodes on youtube.com/Cheryl M. Robinson. That's youtube.com/Cheryl, the letter M, Robinson. Take care, and we'll see you next time.